Joey Logano has a chance to fight for his third championship on Sunday. Does it really change how we view him long term as possibly one of the greatest of all time if he indeed wins? Let's talk about it here on Stuck in the Catch Fence. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful week. My name is Ryan Peters, and this is Stuck in the Catch Fence as we are headed to championship weekend, where it will be the combination of Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney, who, without controversy, made themselves into the playoffs, and including William Byron. I'm recording this on Monday, so whatever hell that breaks loose, Tuesday, Wednesday, things of that nature, we'll discuss that later in the week, as we will have a live show discussing everything about the championship weekend. So I wanted to talk to you guys about Joey Logano. I'm kind of stepping away from the controversy to talk about the legacy that is Joey Logano. Driving home, as I typically do from work, and thinking about what I could bring to you guys from a thought perspective, and this is what came to mind. Joey Logano, at the age of 16, was a legit child prodigy waiting his turn to get into the ranks of NASCAR. He was successful at the Xfinity level. He was successful at the Cup level, coming up with Joe Gibbs. He then moved on after not being as successful as people thought he would be, and has flourished since entering the number 22 car with Penske, and now has a legitimate opportunity with his sixth time in the Cup Series Championship 4, which is a record, to win his third championship. And I'm asking this because I don't know how to look at legacies moving forward. I don't know. I've asked Travis, I've asked Joe, I'll ask you guys. When I look at guys and try and determine what we base how we feel about drivers moving forward. Like, is Ryan Blaney, if he wins, better than Kevin Harvick? Is Joey Logano better than Kevin Harvick? Is Joey Logano better than Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson if he wins his third championship? I mean, we value championships so much. This is what we base almost every legacy. Dale Earnhardt, while he may only have 80 some wins, we view him better than a lot of other drivers. Jeff Gordon, if you were to use the old point system, would have tied for the most championships of all time if you include what he's done and has the wins that he has. Would he be the greatest driver? Is he viewed as the greatest driver of all time? I try to place legacies at a certain point of how we talk about things and how we view things. And Joey Logano comes to mind, and I'm like, would he ever be viewed as like even the top three greatest drivers of his generation? Is he better than Bush? Is he better than Harvick? Is he better than Jimmy Johnson? I know he's got 7, but even Jimmy Johnson has a knock against him in most people's eyes when it comes to all-time legacy. So where do we put Joey Logano? When you view what he was predicted to do, and that was be one of the greatest at a young age, winning 2 championships, we can confidently say that he lived up to that. How can you say that? Because there's not many drivers that win 2 championships, especially in today's NASCAR world. Kyle Busch has only won 2. Kevin Harvick only won 2. And then after that, you got a lot of guys that have only won 1. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, who has a chance to win 2 this weekend. But in today's landscape, winning 2 championships is really hard, let alone winning 3. But I also think, like, when you view what Joey Logano is, when he gets called out, a lot of people boo. Whenever you talk about how he got here, a lot of people said it's luck, and he's a reason why the championship needs to change. Because really, if it wasn't for Alex Bowman and his issues at the Roval, he wouldn't even be in. So does that have an asterisk when it comes to if he wins his third championship? I don't know. I don't know what to think. And then when I go back and I'm like, what is the most memorable Joey Logano moment of all time? And some of you may disagree, but to me, the biggest moment in Joey Logano's career that most people remember him as is getting smashed into the wall at Martinsville by Matt Kenseth and the entire crowd cheering. That's not a great legacy for people to remember. When you think about like Kyle Larson, I mean, we think about a guy that's willing to push it to the end of use everything he's got to win a race, for better or for worse. When you think of Tyler Reddick, if he was to win, you're always going to remember Homestead. When you think of Kevin Harvick, it's going to be the win right after Dale at Atlanta. When you think of, Chase Elliott, it's the way he was able to master road courses early in his career. And I just simply, when you think of Ryan Blaney, it's going to be how he just dominated the later part of last year and then solidify himself by being clutch again this year at Martinsville. And when I think of Joey Logano, I just feel like there's a bad taste in your mouth. Did he really earn this? Was it luck? Did, did he just happen to get perfect at the perfect time? Is his pit crew actually better? Is Paul Wolf a better crew chief than Joey Logano is a driver? I think some of those things are fair, and some of those things are not fair. Joey Logano's been really good. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the bad taste in our mouth is that he doesn't win as much as we expect somebody to have two championships to win. But at the same time, who does? Kyle Larson? That's about it. Chase Elliott, he doesn't win nearly as much as we think he should. Ryan Blaney, I wasn't even sure if he was a legit champion last year until now, this year. So, where is Joey Logano on the all time spectrum of greatest drivers? And I can't emphasize this enough. He has a chance for his third championship. He is much more likely to win his third championship than even Kyle Busch is. I don't think anybody believes he's better than Kyle Busch. If he wins his third championship, he will have one more than Kevin Harvick. He'll win three more than Mark Martin. Does anybody believe that he's better than those drivers? I think some people do. And I think a lot of people don't. Is it just NASCAR fans that don't respect our drivers today? Is there only a few drivers that we actually believe in their talent would stand the test of time to older drivers? Is that the problem? Is NASCAR so stuck in the late 90s, early 2000s that we just don't give credit to anybody not named Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch today? Is that part of the problem? Have we not evolved from the sport? I mean, Dale Jr. selling the number 8 late model Bud car would say that Dale Jr. is probably still the most prominent figure in this sport, and he hasn't drove in it in over 5 years. Is that a problem? Is it just us fans that are the problem? I don't know. I don't know where Joey Logano's legacy stands, but I will say this. For the ones that like Joey Logano, for the Penske lovers out there, he has something really, really special that he could do come Sunday. And I just don't think that any of us will respect it. I don't think any of us will give him the credit that he rightly deserves. You can't blame somebody for how they got there. You can only appreciate it. Well, the playoffs isn't the best way to determine the champion. Why do you watch March Madness? You think 68 teams competing in a one game elimination is the best way to determine your champion? No, it's all about entertainment. You have to do what the process is there that gives you that opportunity. And Joe Logano, for better or for worse, has put himself in that position more than anybody else. That's something that he can hang his hat on. That he was one of the best to ever do it, given the circumstances that were. Same thing with Jimmy Johnson. He was the best to ever do it, given the circumstances that were. But much like Jimmy Johnson, there's a lot of people, even though he's got 7 championships, that still question today how great of a driver he actually was. Was it him or Chad Knaus? I think the same thing's going to happen with Joey. Was it him or Paul Wolf? And that's really just not fair. It's not fair that Joey Logano participated in the sport at the time that he does, because if he does this, then his name is already penciled into the Hall of Fame. Where will it be at when it comes to the all-time greats? That's a discussion that we as NASCAR fans need to try to have and look at 2013 and Ford in a very different light than we looked at the previous. I don't know where his legacy stands. I don't know how great of a driver Joey Logano really is compared to the modern day NASCAR drivers. I do know this. As much as I can't stand him on Sundays in a car, I enjoy him in the booth. I see that there in his future, and I see Joey Logano's kids one day being part of the sport. We're going to look back and see the Logano legacy possibly being generational, possibly being in the booth from years to come because he's really good at that. Joe Logano will continue to put his mark on this sport, unlike Carl Edwards, unlike Ricky Rudd, Greg Biffle, drivers like that, for decades to come. So the Logano legacy may actually be better as time moves forward when he's out of the car than when he's in the car. And maybe we'll appreciate him a little bit more. So that's my let's talk about it. I'll be interested to see what you guys think. I am still conflicted. I really don't know. I don't know if it's fair how we treat Joey Logano. And if he does indeed win his third championship, he'll be certainly in rarefied air. But let me know what you think. And let me know who you have your picks for the championships, both truck, or not both, but all of the truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series. Again, I appreciate you guys joining in. We'll talk about the craziness that is NASCAR later in the week. Like always, stay safe. God bless.